Hi you guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Hi, welcome if you're coming back. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here, guys. Hi, my name is Julia Creations. I'm a budget coach that makes budgeting easy and simple for you, and today we're gonna have some fun. Oh my gosh, if you're new here, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I have everything that you need for getting your finances on track. We do debt payoff plans, we do credit cards, how to build your credit on this channel, we do how to build your savings, how to get out of debt. We have everything, you guys, but all of our videos are based on your pay schedule, so make sure you are subscribed and check out our playlist. You're gonna love it here. So many people have paid off debt using these methods. So many people have reached their savings goals. So many clients have got their homes that they've wanted, you guys. Sorry, I'm just so excited to do this video because today I was having like a creativity block, and I was like, you know what, here's a video topic that I feel like would be very beneficial, especially with the holidays coming up. Things not always going in order, things not always going how you want them to go. So today we're going to be talking about how to just make sure you're getting by and doing a weekly reset, going through and checking your expenses. This is going to be a budget for bi-weekly, just showing how to go and track your expenses for a week, what to do if you spent anything impulsive, what happens if you go over your budget. We're going to talk about all that fun stuff in a second, and we're going to get straight into it, you guys, and we're going to look at our numbers and see how we did, and we're going to talk about all that fun stuff today in the budget. And I'm excited. This is a good example. We're going to get deep into the nitty-gritty of how to do a reset before you plan your next paycheck. In this example, we're going to talk about your paycheck that has passed, how to wrap up that paycheck, and then how to plan for your next paycheck, thinking intentionally if you mess something up that you didn't want to do. So we're going to go ahead and talk about all of that. So if you guys are new to my channel, I do have my own budget planners that I did make for my clients to make budgeting easy and simple for them. We are using my purple example right now to go over for budgeting. So this is a bi-weekly budget where we had an income of $11.50 per paycheck is our income cycle that we have here every 2 weeks. We're averaging for the month to spend $15.52 on fixed bills, and then we're averaging to spend $5.55 on our variables. So now we have our paycheck breakdown. We're on the opposite bi-weekly pay schedule. So here's the week we don't get paid, here's the week we do get paid. Our paycheck falls on the 7th, and then we don't get paid this week, and then here is the next week we get paid. So we're going to go ahead and plan this paycheck, but before we plan this paycheck, we want to go and look at how our expenses went for the whole entire week and organize our expense tracker and just see what we have left in our binder. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and organize this. So what I always tell my clients to do is make sure that you're going through and you're expense tracking each paycheck. So here's paycheck number 1. We plan to spend $7.90 on bills. We plan to spend $1.99 on variables, which will bring our expenses to a total of $9.89 for this paycheck. Now this is where we're going to go through and see how we did. We're supposed to save $161 for this paycheck, but let's see what we actually spent. So some planners have a budget versus actual side on here, but we don't do it that way. We do a expense tracker as our actual, and then we add up everything at the end of the month. So let's go ahead and look at our paycheck. So we did have a few bills that came out this paycheck that were supposed to total to $790. Let's see how our bills totaled. We split our rent between each paycheck, putting away $600 for rent, and then we spent $55 on our phone and Wi-Fi. And then we had our car insurance for $135. So our expenses for our bills for this paycheck was accurate. We spent $790. Now let's go ahead and look at our variables. Our total spent was $982, but we want to see what we spent in each category. So let's go ahead and pull out our binder because we were using our cash stuffing binder for this week. So our groceries, we have $5 left. And then in our household category, we have, let's go ahead and see, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We have $17 left in our household category. So let's go ahead and see what we spent for this paycheck then. So let's go ahead and compare it to the budget we set. For gas for this paycheck, we spent $22 and $20. So we spent $42 for gas, which is correct to the budget that we set. For groceries, we spent $55, and then we spent $25, which means we only spent $80 on groceries. And then let's go ahead and look at our other categories here. For personal, we're supposed to spend $35. We only spent $18, which gives us the leftover money that we had in our binder. And then for Xmas gifts, we exactly spent $37. And then in impulsiveness, we spent $15. Okay, so this impulsiveness, we put this on our credit card, and that will be removed from our savings. So let's go ahead and do our full savings that we had for this paycheck. So if our total spent was $982, our goal was to have $161 in our savings. We're going to take our $1150 and we're going to minus it from what we actually spent, which was a total of $982. Which means we would have actually $168 in our savings. We stick to our budget because for our personal, we're supposed to spend $35, but we only spent $18, so it made up for our eating out. So technically, it won't be an impulsive transaction. So that makes up for it. So were we still on budget? Yes. Did we have something impulsive come out? Yes, but we were able to make up from it, so our savings will still remain the same. Hope that makes sense, you guys. So we started with having $161 left over, and then this money that would have been in here for our personal, we would take this out. I'm just going to take it out so you guys can see like the money removed. There's two ways you can do this. So we had this money left over. Remember, we put our eating out on our credit card. So if you want to get technical, we can take this money left over and remove it from our binder. We had $161 left over, so you can do it two ways. You can remove your eating out from the personal category, or you can remove it from the savings category, which the savings, we had $168 left over on top of the money we didn't spend. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I worded it correctly. So 168 minus what we actually did spend. Okay, so 161 is what we had. We're supposed to spend $989. We didn't do the full personal care, so that personal money, we could technically take that from eating out, or we can take it from the savings. So we did pretty good for this paycheck. Or we can take that from we put it on our credit card. It was impulsive and we can pay our credit card back, or you can take it directly from the savings. I hope that makes sense the way I'm wording it. Okay, so that's what we did this week. Our total savings for this paycheck that we saved, for this paycheck, we saved a total of $168. We had one impulsive transaction, but we put that on our credit card, and we're going to take the money that we had left over from personal care to pay off the credit card for that transaction. So we're just going to go ahead and take this $15 out of here. All right. And that means we had $7 left over in our binder. Okay, and this is supposed to be in the household / personal. So we'll move this money to our next paycheck, and we're going to use the leftover that we had for personal care, either from our savings or from our or from this money that we have left over. We're going to use a leftover from personal care to pay off the credit card that we did our eating out on, because we didn't have eating out in our budget. Okay, so remove that, which gives us $7 left over. Okay. All right, you guys, so paycheck number 1 is done. We spent the total of $982. We put $168 in our savings, and we used the rest of the money we had from personal care, which was $17, to cover our eating out that we spent for the previous week. Okay, so we put that on our credit card, and we want to pay that off so it's not an impulsive transaction. Now we're going to go ahead and focus on our second paycheck by planning our paycheck number 2 for the month and writing down what we're going to spend for this paycheck. All right, you guys, and I also forgot something very important that I forgot to mention while I'm doing this budget. I'm all over the place today. But for this paycheck, remember, we're supposed to have $161 left over. This automatically went in our savings. So when we did our budget, we put away $199 for our variable expenses, right? $199 is what we put in our envelopes here for everything that was going to come out. Remember, we didn't spend the full personal care budget, but we put the money on our credit card. So that's why we're taking that money that's left over in the personal to pay off the credit card, to put that money back if you ever swipe your credit card instead of using the cash. We're just doing it that way, okay? We didn't have our binder with us and we wanted to spend money on eating out, so we paid it back with our cash that we have in there. So now that's why we have 168 left over instead of 161, because we have that extra money in our binder, and we're going to take the rest of this and just throw it in our savings. I hope I made that make sense for you guys. All right, now let's go ahead and plan paycheck number 2. All right, you guys, so here is our second paycheck of the month. Our paycheck that we have here falls on 11/22. So 11/22 is going to be our payday, and we're going to bring in $11.50 for this paycheck because every 2 weeks we're paid $11.50. All right, automatically as soon as we get paid, we go ahead and put $600 towards our rent. Okay, we put $600 towards our rent for our paycheck. And then our phone and Wi-Fi, we split that into 2. We put money aside for each paycheck for the phone and Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi and phone totals to $110 for the month. I meant to put $110 over here. According to our monthly budget, we spend about $110 on our phone and Wi-Fi for the month. So we break that down in between 2 paychecks just so we can split that evenly. So what will come out of this paycheck as well is going to be our phone plus Wi-Fi, so we don't have such a heavy paycheck breakdown. All right, so we have phone plus Wi-Fi, oopsie, for $55 coming out this paycheck. And then we have our utilities for $107 that also come out during this time frame. We're covering everything from the 17th to the 23rd all the way into our next paycheck. Remember, we don't get paid this week. We don't get paid this week. Our next payday falls on this week. All right, and this will be our paycheck number 1 of the first month, and this is paycheck number 2 that we have for the month. We're just on the opposite pay periods. All right, and then we have our credit card minimum due this week, which is $120. We have subscriptions for $35 this week. We do gas for $43. We do groceries for $85. And then we do personal for $35. And we're going to do personal again. We're going to switch it up. We're going to do personal for $18. And then we're going to do eating out for $17 just because we impulsively did that. So we're going to see if we can adjust our budget to make this work. And then we're going to do our Xmas shopping again for $38. Okay. And here's everything we plan to spend for this paycheck, you guys. So we have our rent, our phone plus Wi-Fi split, our utilities, our credit cards. I don't know why my camera is always giving me a hard time. Sorry, you guys. We have our credit cards for $120. Our subscriptions for $35 this paycheck. We have gas for $43. We have groceries for $85. We have personal for $18. Eating out for $17. Xmas for $38. Okay. So now let's go ahead and add this up. For this paycheck, we're going to go ahead and put in our fixed category, we're going to go ahead and add this up. $600 for rent, $55 for phone plus Wi-Fi, and then utilities for $107 is going to be $762. So out of this paycheck, $11.50, we brought in $11.50 minus $762. We have $388 left. How much of this are we going to put towards variables? We have $120 for credit cards, subscriptions for $35, gas for $43, groceries for $85, personal for $18, eating out for $17, and Xmas for $38, which is going to bring this to $356. $356 plus $762 will bring our expenses this paycheck to $11.18. If we take $11.50 and we minus this from $11.18, we'll have $32 left over in our savings for this particular paycheck. Okay, not bad. Now, if you want to do, we're going to leave $762 in our bill account. And then if you want to break this down for your variables into your binder, you can, or you can just leave $356 in your variable account and we'll just automatically put $32 in our savings. All right. So our goal is to save $32 for our savings. So that way we can still reach our savings goal. Our saving goal for the month is $193. Our last paycheck, we went ahead and saved a total of $168. So we're still on track with our goal. And we just moved some things around. And that is how you would set up your budget, you guys, for your second paycheck of the month doing this. If you guys do want the cash version, I'm going to post a short of me putting these in the cash binder so you guys can see how that works. I do have a full example of that, but that is how we would expense track, see how our budget is going, make adjustments to our new budget, and then move the rest over money to our savings so we can make sure we're still reaching these savings goals. If you want to keep the money in your binder and use it for the previous week, let's say you want to add the money you had left over since you didn't use your full budget for groceries and personal, we still had about $8 left over. You can move that to Xmas gifts if you want, if you need a little bit more, if you want to add the $8, or you can just put it in your savings so you have more saved. But that is how we set up our budget for the span of 2 weeks while expense tracking and monitoring our spending. I hope this video was super helpful, you guys. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye, my loves.